Folks, welcome back to CCL Sports Cards. In today's episode, I thought it would be fun to peel back the curtain just a little bit and highlight some of our bigger sales over the last 90 days and tell you why baseball prospecting may not be the worst thing that can be done right now. So stay tuned and keep that tape rolling. Folks, what is up? How y'all doing? Thanks for staying with me. I'm your host, Christopher Davies. So as promised in the intro, we're going to talk about some sales that we've had over the last 90 days. And again, these are bigger sales as we do quite a few transactions on a daily basis, but I do want to highlight some of our bigger ones and talk about some of the prospects who've been selling well. First up on our board today is none other than channel fave Jordan Westburg, who, as many of you know, debuted quite recently for the Baltimore Orioles and did quite well, although he did scuffle a little bit this week. We sold a blue BGS 95 True Gem, which was purchased last September in 2022 for $270. We then resold that card July 5th for $510. And all these sale figures do include fees and expenses, so you get a sense of how much we're really making on each card. We also sold an orange Jordan Westburg. It was a BGS 9, although it was originally a PSA 8 that we paid $392 for back in May of 2022. We subsequently sold that card just before his debut, or around the time of his debut, June the 14th for $802, which was a very nice profit. But do keep in mind, in that instance, we moved a PSA 8 to a BGS 9. Then we come to a player who I actually considered a bit of a bust pick for the channel a while back. I can't remember what episode, but I did consider him a bit of a bust. But Patrick Bailey has been no bust. We sold Patrick Bailey's True Red BGS 9.5 for $2,182. And just a year ago, in May of 2022, we paid $1,300. So a very tidy profit. We also sold a Patrick Bailey True Red. We did have two of them. BGS 9 for $712 just before his debut. So a little bit early, but nobody's perfect. Can't get them all right. And we did pay $825 for that card last February. So a $100 loss, but all things being equal, we did unload a lot of our Patrick Bailey at his debut, and we did very, very well on Patrick Bailey. Then we're going to talk about Spencer Strider a little bit. Who says people don't care about pitchers? We have done so well with Spencer Strider, and we were in on him in the very early days when he was striking out 2 guys per inning in the minor leagues. And when 20 Bowman Draft was released, everybody was into guys like Jesse Franklin and, his propensity to hit the long ball, but I loved Spencer Strider. We recently sold his refractor in BGS 9.5 for $800, and I couldn't tell you what the card cost, 'cause I believe we got that in a break, but we did very well and had tons of Spencer Strider sell in the store. There was a Casey Schmidt blue PSA 10 that sold for $670, and he came along with a lot of Patrick Bailey, as Casey Schmidt was somebody that most people didn't really care about. And he's scuffled a little bit as well, but we were able to unload a lot of our Casey Schmidt. We also sold one of the bigger sales we had over the last few months was our black refractor BGS 10 Spencer Strider. That card cost us next to nothing, and it sold for $2,300 Canadian. Keeping in mind, this card was actually a PSA 9 when it was first graded, but both Dusty, the fella from SubHub, who I'm a big fan of, who does excellent work, both he and I agreed that the PSA 9 was really not appropriate. The card was virtually flawless. In fact, that whole order was PSA 9s, and the whole order was terrible, but we'll talk about this some other time. The BGS 10 Pristine sold for a whopping amount of money, and if we had sold it as a PSA 9, it probably would have only been like a few $100s. So while some say that nobody cares about pitchers, clearly somebody does besides me, because they're willing to pay $2,300 for his black refractor. Now, folks, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I make money on every single card we buy. In fact, the opposite. I've been selling cards that I paid $100 for $25, or even $200 slabs where I'm taking $10, because we want to clear out the junk, the stuff that, they were just bad investments. We don't want to keep this stuff and hope the price goes up. Hope isn't a strategy. We get rid of it and buy better products that we can sell for more money. While nobody wants to lose money on cards they buy, it's part of the hobby. And I consider the money we lose tuition to Sports Card University and how we can make more money in the future. And I know we're on the right path. And I share that with all of you today. Much like the players above, I don't mention them to brag. I mention them because there are prospects you can buy these days, or even in the last year as prices have declined, which you can still make money on. And I mentioned all those players on the channel at one point. But back to my point, I know we're headed in the right direction because this time last year on eBay, over the last 90 days, we had $8,000 in sales. And as it stands today, our last 90 days in sales are a whopping $27,000. So thank you very much to all of you who watch this channel, but also those of you who choose to shop in the store. I appreciate all of you. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe icon so you know when content like this drops. Remember, anything said on this channel is strictly my opinion and should be taken as such. Take care.